There we go. Sorry, y'all. Let's start over, huh? I'm Heather. Heather Steele. I'm from Boundaries and Beyond. I'm the program director. I do a little bit of everything there. If you have any questions after this, I'm the person you're gonna get in contact with. I'll give you all that information at the end. We're gonna send you the slides. Toby's gonna send you the slides and the recording. And I also have a little handout that I'm gonna give to Toby as well because I had some questions after the last one, and I felt like those would probably be pretty common questions. So I put some things into a handout so that I can send that off with all of y'all. Like Toby said, go ahead and put any questions in the chat. And at the end, I'm going to turn off the recording and answer the questions. And the reason that Toby and I decided to do that was just in case there were any personal questions. We don't want a recording of that out and about in the world. We both value confidentiality quite a bit. Okay. I'm going to start sharing my screen, so give me a second here to do that because it always takes a second. All right. Oh, Toby, can you allow me to share it?
I just did.
Looks like, yeah. Okay, great. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, present. You'll notice sometimes when I'm thinking, I do a little sing song about it. I apologize. All right. So this is us, Boundaries and Beyond. And today we're going to talk about some of our workshops. And we're going to talk about how you can access those workshops at no cost to you. We we do work with Medicaid, and we are able to bill Medicaid for some of these workshops. Let me move this so it looks like I'm looking at you. And these workshops are for anybody with intellectual or developmental disabilities, which includes autistic folks. And we say autistic adults and older teens are the right age for this. I wouldn't say a 12 or 13-year-old, but probably once you start getting 15, 16, 17, I think most of our workshops I would be appropriate for that age group. And so I'm just going to talk a little bit about this fun stuff today. All right, so a little bit about Boundaries and Beyond. We're a newer kind of baby nonprofit. So we don't have a ton of employees yet, but we're working on it. We're growing. And we are operating in the Portland metro area. We usually say primarily we serve Washington, Clackamas, and Multnomah. We do virtual stuff statewide, but in person would be in one of those three counties in that Portland metro region. We provide educational classes, workshops, trainings to folks who have an IDD. And we also provide some trainings for parents, guardians, and disability service providers so that we can all be on the same page. If someone goes through one of our classes or trainings, we want the people, caregiving, supporting, helping them to be on the same page. So we also we have some plans in the mix for some fun like social gatherings where folks can come and actually practice some of these skills that we talk about, that we learn in classes. That's a to be determined, but I'm thinking ice cream social mostly because I really like ice cream and it's a good excuse to eat ice cream. Primarily, our workshops focus on healthy relationships and sex education. And when I say sex education, I mean comprehensive sex education. To folks who maybe aren't in this world, I'm constantly inundated with sex education. Comprehensive sex ed is going to mean more than just talking about having sex. We talk about communication, we talk about healthy relationships, we talk about prevention of abuse and consent and all the things that would go into any type of relationship, not just a romantic or sexual relationship. So I put this slide together just because I thought it was cute, to be dead honest. It was because I thought it was fun and cute to put together. But these are a few things about our programming. Comprehensive sex ed is going to include pregnancy prevention. It's going to be sex positive. We're going to talk about STI prevention. It's inclusive. It's inclusive not just of folks who have an IDD, or IDDs, but also of the LGBTQIA2S plus community. It's really important for us that we had that lens when we built some of this programming together. There's a whole lot of folks out there who identify as both autistic and members of the LGBTQIA2S plus community. So it's especially important for us that we took that lens, that identity affirming lens is what we call it. All of the programming is going to be evidence-based, meaning it's based in science. It isn't just something I decided I thought was a good idea one day. Um, Everything is trauma informed. Anybody who's going to be facilitating any of these workshops has gone through trauma training, because we do know, unfortunately, that a lot of folks with disabilities have experienced abuse in the past, and that might come up in one of our workshops or trainings. So we're all trauma informed. I actually was what we call an abuse preventionist. So I used to go around and teach all of these good things about prevention of abuse to various different folks. So I promise if I'm in your class, I'm gonna take care of you. Everything we do is also community informed. So any of the instructional materials, the curriculum, these were all guided by or reviewed by folks who have an IDD or IDDs. Okay, I think I got them all. All right, our workshops. So like I said, in-person workshops would be either in Multnomah, Clackamas, Washington County. Our in-person workshops are a little bit longer. They're about 3 hours. And that's because people come sit down. We got to get, used to say hi to everybody a little bit more. We're going to take some like breaks to get up and go get water and so on. So those workshops, the in-person ones, those run about 3 hours. Online, we do 1 to 2 hours because we don't have the need for as many like breaks to like sensory regulation, that sort of thing. And that would be either done on Zoom or probably Google Meets, one of the two. And we can do those workshops that are virtual statewide. Actually, we can do them nationwide. However, we can only bill Medicaid for those that are statewide. And that's because of the Oregon disability, the state services for disability services. So, excuse me, some of the workshop topics that we cover are included here. There are more, and I love building workshops, trainings, and so on. So if there's something that you don't see here, feel free to reach out or ask me. I would love to tailor something for you. I really do. Like, I'm not kidding. I love doing it. Get me like to dig into some research and put some slides together. It's my happy place. So I love doing that. But I may already have something put together and I just could not include every single thing on our list. So reach out to me if there's something you're like, I wonder if you guys do this, but I'm not sure. Just shoot me an email. I am happy to chat with you. So one of the things that we do is we do like a navigating workplace conduct, workplace relationships workshop, which is really great, especially for folks who are new to the workplace environment. So maybe you're like 19 or 20, you're just getting your first job, or you're just getting your first part-time job. Even for folks that are like maybe volunteering, that would be a good option. And we always do communication. We talk about communication. We're going to talk about things like nonverbal skills as well when we talk about communication. And that would be things like tone of voice or eye contact or facial expressions or body language, stuff like that. Because there's a lot of little nuance that can be missed when we're having conversations with someone. It's more than just the words coming out of our mouth or that we're typing. We're going to talk about public or private. And by that, I mean what things are okay to do in a public space and what things are just for private spaces. We would talk about examples of what those activities might be in each and what those public and private spaces might be. So a public place might be the park. A private space would be the bathroom or your bedroom in your home. There's always a little bit of advocacy in every workshop that we do. Our title, our name is Boundaries and Beyond, and boundaries are a really important piece to advocating for yourself or for others. So that's why we have advocacy in everything. Safety, we have some safety workshops, specific ones. We have staying safe online, and that's going to be like things like exploitation, trafficking. There's a whole lot of scammers out there. Unfortunately, I've heard one too many times about folks who meet someone online. I had a client somewhat recently that this happened to. They said, "Hey Heather, I got a new girlfriend." And I was like, "Ah, yay, tell me about your new girlfriend." They're like, "Oh, we met online." Immediately, I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I met my husband online. Tell me more." Um, they don't live by me, but they're really lovely. They want to come visit me, and they're gonna want me to send them some money. And that's where my like the big ding dings went off in my head. And I was like, "Ooh, this doesn't feel right." If someone's like asking you to send them money to come see them, you've never met in person, and you've only had a relationship online, that sends the red flags up. So those are the kinds of things we might talk about in a staying safe online workshop. Again, we talk about boundaries with safety, and abuse prevention. Exploitation is abuse, trafficking is abuse. These are all different types of abuse. It is not just what you think of, a partner hitting another partner. There's unfortunately a lot of ways to hurt someone. And in that, we talk about healthy and unhealthy relationship behaviors. I usually do like a list when we compare what are some healthy ones, what are some unhealthy ones. And I always make sure to tell folks that we all do some unhealthy behaviors sometimes. That doesn't mean we're the worst people in the world. It just means we have to be accountable for our actions and repair when necessary, right? And then we do lots and lots of sex and relationship stuff. So consent, dating, gender identity, sexuality, safer sex. And when I say safer sex, that generally means staying safe from sexually transmitted diseases. We would talk about pregnancy prevention. We also talk about, is it the right time? Should I consider having a baby? Am I ready to have sex? It's not just the basics, like this is what sex is. We talk a lot about, am I prepared for this? What do I do if? We run through skits and scripts, videos, all sorts of interesting stuff. We have a pretty basic, just sex the basics, where we would go through like what sex is, what anatomy is, pregnancy prevention and STI prevention. And we also have a workshop completely on masturbation, which sometimes makes people feel a little uncomfortable, and I totally understand. This is one of the private behaviors, right, that we would do behind closed doors in, say, our bedroom or the bathroom. But this is a really important one, and I usually share this story or these types of stories with folks because I want them to know why we chose to do this. It is not some sort of voyeuristic, we enjoy talking about masturbation. It's because when people don't understand how to masturbate in a safe way, they can hurt themselves and they can hurt others. I've seen and heard stories of, pretty significant number of folks who chose to use an object to pleasure themselves with that was not made for that purpose. So it was not a sex toy. Maybe it was an electric toothbrush or a vegetable, whatever. And then there's harm done. They physically harm themselves in the attempt to masturbate. And there's no need for that. If we give people the information that they need to do so safely and to do so in a private space, then everybody is happy, healthy. All right, let's move on to the next one, the Medicaid eligible part. So this is the part that I know y'all are probably most excited about because it's how we can provide these workshops without having to charge you as an individual. So, in order for you to be eligible to bill Medicaid for this, and one person asked last time, if I have Medicaid health insurance, is that the same? That's not the same. When we're talking about billing Medicaid in this sort of context, it is, are you receiving services from the state of Oregon? And that's usually through ODDS. If you have a service coordinator or a personal agent, generally you're receiving services through ODDS. and you would likely have what's called an ISP. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with these already, but it means an individual support plan. And that's really important for what makes it eligible, because we can help you right into that ISP or individual support plan that you or the person you're supporting wants to learn more about healthy relationships, wants to learn how to stay safe online. And when we put that in the ISP, that means now we can bill the state for that workshop. If you are a provider, we would be billing under the community DSA. You don't have to know that if you're not the provider. I'm just letting you know, because every time I say one of these things and there's providers in the room, they go, is this billed under community or facility? It is billed under community. And so we can help you or your service coordinator, personal agent work on that ISP. In all likelihood, they already know what needs to be done, but if not, we're happy to help and support them. And then they do the billing. So you just show up to the class then. It's pretty easy peasy for you. I'm going to take you to our website here in a second so I can show you all how to sign up and how to find more information. These slides are going to come to you in your email, so you can use the QR code later to get to our website. You can just use the the website link here, but I'm going to get out of present mode here, and I'm going to show you how to get to the sign up page. So this is our home page, if you will. And in order to get to the sign up page, you can go through a few different ways. One of the ways is clicking on programs, and then you can click whether you're an adult with IDD who wants to sign up or a parent or provider. You can also just click here on this register today. It's right on the very first page. And you see workshops for healthy relationships. This lovely little sign up here button. You'll click that, and it's going to take you to this form. This form is going to give me all the information that I need to know exactly what it is you would like. So we have several different ways that we provide this education. One is workshops that would be self-pay or personal pay, and that's about $50 an hour per person. Then we have the Medicaid eligible workshops, which we're talking about right now. It's the same content as the other workshops. It's strictly just how is it being billed. And then the one on the very bottom, this is what we call the full program. These can be billed through Medicaid. We just need to work a little bit differently when we go through the ISP. I'm happy to answer any questions about that later. But this is an 8-week, well, actually, it's a 16-week course. It's two 8-week courses. And each class is about 3 weeks or 3 hours long. So it's kind of set up the way like a community college course might be for a semester. And because there's so many, if you're doing personal pay, that can be a little prohibitive cost-wise. But you will get a choice to say what you're interested in of these three in this little questionnaire. So I'll ask email. It doesn't have to necessarily be the participant's email. It's whomever's doing the coordinating and scheduling for what time, what day, which workshop, etc. So whomever we want to be the contact person for this workshop, that's what would go here. Then we'll put the participant's first and last name, the participant's email address, whomever the contact person is, their phone number. And then we'll ask you, do you want us to be doing these workshops in person? Do you want to do them virtually? And if you don't care, you can pick either one. And then I ask for the zip code. The zip code is specific for in person, because what I like to do is once I get enough people from a similar area, then I will reach out to the local library, community center, wherever we're going to hold the class to get that scheduled in an area that's near these folks' house. Because I know that transportation can be restrictive, especially if, say, you're not a driver. So you need to take public transit or you need to have someone drop you off. I want to make sure that you're not having to travel all the way across town to access the workshop. So that's why I ask for your zip code. And then down here, it asks you if you're interested in the full program. You can skip the question. You can say no. You can say maybe, I'll think about it later. That's fine. And today, what we're talking about are these one-time workshops. So if you want to do a one-time workshop, you would say yes. And then if you want to bill Medicaid and you have a service coordinator or a personal agent, you would say yes here. I also have a space for other if you're not sure or you want to give me some more information to help answer that question. Then I do ask about the agency and either the personal agent or service coordinator so that I can reach out to them or they can reach out to me too. And we can get the ball rolling because it can take a little bit of time, as sometimes these things do. Then down here, I have all of the different, honestly, it's not all. It's a large number of all of the workshops we provide, but we do a lot more. So I also left this other space. If there's anything that you would like us to cover or you would like a workshop or training on that's not listed, write it in here. I'll probably be able to do that for you. And then I always leave a space if there's anything else you want me to know. So then after you submit this, I get an email that says, hey, someone filled out the form. I go through, I check the form, and then I see, are there other folks who are interested in these classes, either virtually or in person, and where are they locally? And then I start grouping people into different classes. I reach out to you via email and say, hey, this is the day and time, location that I'm looking at for this particular topic. Does that seem to work for you? We can make sure that we get this all through in your ISP so the providers can bill for it. So there'll be a little bit of back and forth between us. It's unfortunately not as easy as you click sign up for a day and then you get to show up, but that's part of what happens when we have to bill Medicaid. That's okay. Just takes a little bit of extra time. All right, let me get out of this and I will put up present from this screen. See, there's my singing voice, huh? Okay. So this is my contact information. Well, this is our contact information. I'm the one who checks our info at boundariesandbeyond.org email. So feel free to address it to me if you'd like. I'm going to be the one responding to you. There's our website. We also have our phone number down here. I'll be honest with you, I miss phone calls all the time. I step away from my desk, so I miss them. So if you do call, leave me a voicemail so I can get back to you. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we do have a Discord. We haven't gotten the ball rolling as well as we'd like yet on Discord, but you are welcome to follow us or interact with us on any of those platforms. And I am going to stop recording, and then Toby or we're going to share some of the questions that we have. Let's see, stop share, stop recording.